The Square Ball Podcast.
Welcome to Propaganda that's brought to you with Levi Solicitors. levisolicitors.co.uk/The Square Ball for 10% off your legal fees. Dan, Michael and Rob here. Part 2 of the show is where we find out what has been said by the Chelsea fans in the wake of the game at Stamford Bridge at the weekend. What do we have, Michael? You've been digging around and researching this.
A bit boring.
Are they?
Yeah, a little bit.
There was an interesting kind of... is it a divide? Is that the word I'm looking for? Between people who were in the stadium and said there was a decent edge to it. It had a little bit of an old school feel to it. But then there's so much evidence elsewhere of them just being a massive tourist club.
I think
is it the touristy vibe you've got from the... Yeah,
from the YouTube. We were saying before the game, Rob, that the kind of... We consider Chelsea to be like 50% modern tourist club, pretty boys, and about 50% sort of a bit more well-dressed Millwall kind of thing going on. And the online presence of it seems very much to be more the new fan. Like, they're all young. These people won't remember, Gavin Peacock playing for Chelsea or Dimitri Carine or that sort of, the kind of fairly shit Chelsea that we remember fondly from our youth.
Is it Gavin Peacock who's now Man of the Lord?
Yes,
isn't he?
And a big old misogynist.
Yeah,
as well.
A bit problematic, isn't he? I was going to say.
A little bit, yeah. But if that's what God's telling him, it's up to him, I suppose. I wouldn't go along with what he says. John Spencer, I think, is fine if we're just going to keep naming old Chelsea strikers. But yeah, so it's they're sort of a young bunch and a bit miserable generally, even though they won. We did get some info on. We've not got a clip of him because he was being smug, and I don't think people want to hear it. But Chelsea Rory,
he's the thick one off True Geordie, isn't he? He's the Chelsea fan.
Yeah, he's kind of I think he doesn't always realise they're laughing at him.
I was going to say they all just laugh at him, don't they?
Or he does realise they're laughing at him and still subjects himself to it, which I think is probably worse.
Possibly, yeah. But he's we did have some info passed on.
Do we want to identify the source of this information?
No, we must not.
Should we come up with a cover name?
Barry. Barry's been in touch.
Barry George has been in touch and said,
the one.
Yeah.
Not information gained from peering in through windows or anything, just to be clear. But he's given his information on Chelsea Rory, which has blown my mind, that he is in the Salmon Dance video by the Chemical Brothers.
Oh, yeah.
I watched it and I went, he's right. It is him. It is him. So yeah, and he was. I knew he'd tried to be an actor before, but he was actually in EastEnders for quite a few episodes. His character was in prison for trying to kill Ian Beale, apparently, which is no way to treat a soap legend, is it? I mean, so yeah, and then some other things that we're not allowed to say.
No, we can't go on record saying that.
It would be identifiable with the other information, so we're not.
So Barry George would become known. Barry didn't do it. Barry George would become known to Chelsea Rory if we read that paragraph out, and we'd be libeling him, I dare say.
Possibly, yes.
He sort of encompasses both sides of the Chelsea support then, if he's in prison for killing someone while being sort of an annoying YouTuber at the same time.
Yeah, leave Ian Beale alone. Right, okay, on to Chelsea Fan TV then.
Chelsea Fan TV. This is a guy called Lewis, so I think he was on KG, friend of the podcast. He was on his channel actually, and I don't mind.
Not
Lewis.
Not the detective in Oxford, no.
No, different one.
Different bloke. Right,
different guy. But he's basically saying he thinks they got away with it, but then he does have the temerity to moan a bit about their injury problems.
Oh, awful, isn't it, with that squad of theirs?
I really don't want to be negative, but we got away with it. This game should have been a draw. If anything, we're lucky at some periods that they didn't get a third goal. Thiago Silva saved us in this match.
Yeah.
But we struggled. We absolutely struggled. The midfield was getting carved apart in the second half. I don't know if it was the case of Ruben trying to do two people's jobs, because we know Jorginho wasn't match fit going into this game, or they just overall had a poor performance. But we got carved apart on the transition in the second half, and it wasn't good enough if we're talking about a title race, because these performances are happening too often now. And I'm not going to blame individuals. I'm definitely not going to blame Tuchel on this one either, because it's a matter of circumstance. We're dealing with injuries. We're dealing with a lot of small injuries in the squad that's preventing players from playing at 100%. And we're also dealing with the loss of Ben Chilwell, and we've seen how important our build-up play has been from the wing-backs. And we can't accommodate for the fact that the middle just hasn't really been good enough, because now we haven't got the wing-backs to cover for that.
Football fans are really ungrateful, aren't they? I mean, genuinely. So did they go top with that win temporarily? And we can't carry on with these performances where we're not great, but we still win.
Yeah, and we've only got we're down to such bare bones. We've only got like £400 million of the players on the bench, or however will we cope?
Okay.
But I suppose it's where they are. They're used to winning stuff every year, aren't they? Whereas we're still a bit more.
We're real. We're real. We're authentic.
We're still fairly grateful if we've got someone who's like above 21 on the bench. We're like, oh, that's all right. This is fine.
And yet, as we said, we went toe to toe with them. So all kudos to Leeds United and not to Chelsea. Right, what's the next clip?
Well, he's trying. You can hear there he's quite negative, and there's the woman who's interviewing him is trying desperately to get something more out of him, but he kind of doesn't provide it.
Getting back to it then, let's end on a positive. Okay, you're Thomas Tuchel today. What do you say to your players?
Got away with murder.
Okay, that's not positive.
I don't know what to tell you. Like, as soon as that second goal came in, I thought, okay, here we go, 2 more points dropped, and then they gave us another penalty in the 90th minute. That's as close as you're gonna get to just getting away with it. Like, we'll say it's luck. We'll say it's like, were we the best? Oh, fuck off, man. Knobheads. Like, you were gonna say that it's luck and everything like that. It's not fucking luck. It's just shit decision making from Leeds in the final third, I guess. Like,
but we took advantage of it, didn't we? That's the thing.
Did.
And I know it's 2 penalties, but
how many times are we gonna get away with it?
Wow, happy bunch. I enjoyed that. Presumably that was the Met that were.
I believe so. Yeah,
telling him to get off of the road.
A great bunch of lads.
Yeah. Isn't it funny? Football's sent us all mental.
It's probably all fair points. I think we were probably like that in the Championship, weren't we? We were a bit ungrateful.
It does feel very specific to the Premier League, though. I wrote the other week that it's not second season syndrome, it's Premier League syndrome. It's not that your players get found out or anything. You just get dragged down to that sort of level of collective misery that just nobody's happy, is there? Like, you look at City fans winning the league every year, they look miserable. Scum fans are miserable. Chelsea fans are miserable. Arsenal fans are mental. Like, nobody seems to enjoy the Premier League at all.
I think Leicester enjoyed it last year to a point, and then they dropped out of the Champions League and they were pissed off, and now they're still pissed off.
Well, they've done that 2 years in a row, haven't they? So you have sort of 2.
How many clubs?
Years.
How many clubs do you think that are genuinely happy in the division? So Brentford will be quite happy at the minute.
Well, I think
West Ham will be happy.
I think we said last year we're probably the happiest fans in the division.
Yeah,
like when we were
not anymore
10th or whatever. Oh, not anymore. No, God no. We're all miserable this season.
Obviously, Norwich are just happy to be here.
Yeah. Lovely time.
Who else have we got in there that's doing all right?
Newcastle are thoroughly unhappy. Although, are they happy because they've got the old beheaders in charge?
Well, they were unhappy for a time when they were under Mike Ashley. Now they're happy because the beheaders are there, but they're unhappy because they're in the relegation zone. But I think they are sort of mitigating it by thinking they're going to spend their way out of it in January.
I think Palace are fairly happy because they're actually playing some football now, whereas they've had a few years of kind of dire counter-attacking.
Who else have we got?
Everton fans. They spent their summer writing death threats on the wrong person's house.
They did.
So that goes well. Spurs spent a summer trying to hire about 8 managers.
I'd say Wolves are relatively happy as well because they've got some decent points on the board and Lage is doing a decentish job.
They feel like they're in a false position to me, though, the Wolves, because I've still not seen them play well and they just seem to keep winning games.
I was going to say Brighton will be happy, but we know from the other week they're not happy.
They're booing their team, yeah.
Booing.
I saw that when they booed them off against Leeds, they were higher than they've ever finished in their history, which is amazing.
And Villa will be relatively happy because Gerrard's done a good job since he's come in, but that won't last long. They'll end up sad soon.
Southampton will get beat 9-0 any week, so they'll be sad again.
So everyone's sad.
Yeah, it's
Excellent.
great, isn't it? It's good. He's been promoted.
Well,
Burnley.
We've got some more sadness coming up next. This is in the desperation to try and find someone doing something a bit different with Chelsea. I came across he's a child, so I won't mention his YouTube channel. He's got 3 subscribers, bless him. But he did a watch along for the game.
Are you saying we shouldn't get thousands of Leeds fans to?
No, I'll leave him alone.
Right,
he's doing nothing wrong. I just like it because it just reminds me of being like, I don't know how old he is, like 12, and just thinking everything's really against you.
That's not a penalty. That's not a penalty. It's stupid from Alonso. One thing, he's just invited pressure on himself. What's he doing? Oh, what's he doing? What's he doing? Oh, that's stupid. That's stupid from Alonso. That's dreadful from Alonso. Horrific defending. It's in paid past Alonso, who's just gone sliding in. It's horrific. That's horrific from Alonso. Definitely a penalty. Oh, come on! Mendy went the right way. He started to run up. Mendy went the right way. Still didn't get it. What's Mendy done there? What's he done? He dived the right way.
Oh, Mom!
I was going to say, he's getting so close to Kevin the teenager there, isn't he?
It starts as well, but it's not a penalty.
Oh, it's a penalty.
That's a penalty. It's a penalty. But still, it's not fair. And there's even more of that on Gelhardt's goal, where you can even hear at the end. I think you can hear his mum shouting him just as the clip plays out. You can. He says,
James, your sandwiches are ready.
Are you all right? You sound upset.
Shut up! I'm on YouTube. But mind you, that's what we do.
The world's against me.
Oh, they've scored! They've scored! Oh, what's happened there? Oh, classic, just typical. For God's sake!
It is nice, Kevin.
God's sake!
I was just going to say the start of that clip. He's really softly spoken, like, you know, when we contrast it with how bananas we were going in here when Gelhardt scored, and how annoyed we were when stuff goes against us, when we'll be screaming fuck off, and things like that, like absolute rabid idiots. It struck me then at the start of that clip that he was in his bedroom trying not to get told off for being too loud.
His mum might be one of his 3 subscribers too. He's like, better not swear. She'll say I can't do it anymore. If she hears the bad language, I'll be in bother.
Well, he's putting his art out there for people to criticise.
He
so
is, bless him.
Fair play. Right, who we got next?
Craigo, 28.
Is that his age or?
Could be. I don't know. Maybe he's the 28th Craigo on YouTube. I think we had him last year on, just saying how shit everything was, basically, after they drew 0-0 at Ellen Road. They subsequently won the Champions League.
Yeah.
So,
Come see, come sir.
Pluses and minuses, I suppose. It wasn't a bad year all in all, but he was recording inside the ground, and a bit like the first guy, was just thoroughly amazed at them getting anything from this game. So this is the Gelhardt goal.
They fully deserve it. They fully deserve it. And I think that's his first fucking touch, Gelhardt. Don't think so. Looks all right to me. Chelsea 2, Leeds 2. 10 minutes to go, if that.
And he's even saying they deserve it. Why are people being so nice?
And I mean, I don't know. I don't tend to play clips of the other team having good things happen to them because no one wants to hear it. But the second clip is of the penalty award. But at the end of it, he knows that they've got away with this. How the fuck have we been that lucky?
Well,
and he's right in him.
Yep, badge on your chest, isn't it? And we've got another one then. Who agrees?
Next up, it is George Benson, the
popular soul artist.
Exactly. The
Give Me the Night.
Taking a break from his guitar, and he's doing some vlogging about Chelsea. But again, just basically saying they got away with it.
It's one of those again where I don't know how we've got away with this. It is very, very lucky. I don't think we were that good today. I thought Leeds probably deserved to get a point out of this game, but Chelsea get it done.
They did get it done. By the referee and VAR. Let's have something more wholesome. Come on, play Lynn. Let's play Lynn.
Let's play Lynn. This was lovely, wasn't it? She shared this on Twitter. And I noticed it's Bryn on the commentary, so I don't know if the club are dishing out secret links for the families to watch, or whether she's going via a VPN or what.
They're setting up some sort of back channel illegal streaming network.
Potentially.
Which we will report you, by the way, unless you want to loop us in.
True enough. But yeah, this is just a mum watching a lad score a goal in the Premier League, and it's wholesome.
Oh.
Runs into trouble a little and then runs out of it, and Firpo has it now. The ball to keep.
Oh, someone's put on Snapchat as well. It is Lynn!
Oh, it's like they know the moment they've been waiting for years.
Lynn!
It is. Like, this is his moment. He's about to step on stage and do the nativity or whatever.
I'm sure my mum's like that every podcast we release.
It's Michael.
He's gonna talk about Steve Nicol.
Bless
Bless him.
It's been Stevie Nichol's birthday, hasn't it? Speaking of Nicol.
It has, to move on to the wider stuff, yeah. No clip of him, but ESPN did put out a little best-of compilation, but I'd be just nicking someone else's best-of, which feels like cheating.
How did you celebrate?
Bags of crisps. 8 bags of crisps.
It's great value, Stevie Nicol.
They did actually make him for his 60th. They got him shepherd's pie that they presented to him on, and he thought it was a trick as well. He was like, "There's no corn in this, is there?" Because obviously he doesn't want anything but mince and potatoes. I think even probably the onion gets taken out.
He's really have turned his life into a sitcom, haven't he?
Yeah. Like, I'm not having any vegetables in this.
He considers salt and pepper seasoning to be just too fancy, doesn't he?
Potato is an allowable vegetable. Anything else? No, mind you, you know he doesn't mind salt, given all the crisps.
Of course, yeah. Imagine he might not want any seasoning on his food because of this ridiculously high salt intake. Anyway,
bless him. But yeah, no Steve Nicol this week. But I've got a bit of Hecky, which is, we said last week how we were struggling to get his full philosophy across, and
which we know he comes in two tenets, isn't there?
And it's the same problem this week. The game against QPR was postponed in the end because of COVID, so we don't know if the work he'd done on the training ground would have seen them manage both facets of his philosophy. But this was pre-game.
We've tried to stress the importance of playing forward, running forward, creating chances, and there's been a response, and it's been, while we still think we want to improve that further, just by the reaction speech people after the game, there's been a noticeable intent from the players, which is great. That's what we want to hear. But we also want that intent when we've not got the ball. And
he's getting there.
We're going to start talking about running backwards then. We need to get better at that.
I was waiting for it. I was going to come on, running out of time now on this clip.
Yeah, so doing it with the ball, still not without the ball.
Right.
So that's a shame. We should probably finish off with a bit of besotted, shouldn't we?
Well, it's the weekly Brentford update.
Indeed, we had
obsessed. I think was the charge level at you, Michael, in particular.
Well, someone has been in touch. He says, in between pissing myself laughing, I've been feeling a little bit guilty about what happened around 32 minutes on the 2nd December episode. Not sure if you're aware of it. He says, despite being a lifelong Leeds fan, he's been in the South for 20 years, and during that time, he's been playing football with a man whose name has been redacted, who's a Brentford fan and part of the Besotted crew. Top footballer, top bloke, terrible footballer, big part of the Besotted crew. So we messaged him before the Leeds QPR game, and he mentioned us and he actually said that we've been nice about them. And he thinks that this is how they've got onto us and started listening to our podcast, potentially. So
do we have is he patient zero then? Is that what we're looking at?
Potentially, yeah. So I think he's been passed on to this man whose name we can't mention, who has then passed it on to other besotted people and said, I should listen to.
Who, of course, passed it on to the Brentford coaching staff, as we know.
Yeah, everyone in the whole family.
The whole family know, don't they? Now?
It's like, when you go around now and you see people have stuck like COVID stuff on bus stops and things. It's like that in Brentford. If you go down there, things December the 5th, 32 minutes in or whatever, QR code, so you can get linked straight to it. So anyway, I listened to it because they were still talking about us. They did another Leeds follow-up podcast.
Another one?
And they took time again to, I think it's Billy the Bee.
Wow.
He was again trying to explain to us and to them what is banter and what is and isn't funny.
Factual and funny. Did we decide the two had to go?
He's kind of getting back into that, yeah.
Okay.
Score. Now, Leeds fans are turning around to us saying, oh, look at you, you call yourselves a bus stop in Hounslow. It's like almost like you are, you are trying to take ownership of this, taking the piss yourself. And it's just kind of like, okay, that's fair enough. But there's jokes, and we know all about jokes. If you've read Besotted, if you listen to what we do, if you've listened to any of our live events or gone to any of our live events, you know that we like a good joke. We know that we like to take the piss out of each other, and we have banter and whatever you may call it with ourselves and with
not just a boss, but a great entertainer. That's what I'm taking from this.
Well, if you're waiting for David Brent, be patient.
Up and down the country. Now, the thing about banter and the thing about jokes is they've got to be funny. If they're not funny,
he's right, isn't it? Jokes do have to be funny to someone.
it doesn't work, like, you know. And there's just this, like I said, we said it before with Leeds, there's this really strange kind of slightly nastiness about their kind of joking, which is like, it's not funny. I could joke with Middlesbrough, I could joke with Preston, I'll joke with, you know, any other team, and we'll have some jokes with them. But with Leeds, it just always seems to be slightly different, and we always try to reach out to them and try to be kind of friendly and see what it is, but it's always this kind of superiority thing. You know, we're bigger than you, we've got more fans than you. As we came out the
both true
stadium, somebody shouted to us, yeah, where are they? The other 2 fans are over there. It's a funny joke, but it's not that funny because we actually bought 3,000.
So it's not factually correct, is it?
So it's not funny.
I got it now.
So it's kind of like in your head, if you're thinking that, you know, that's the case, it's kind of like it's not even funny, you know. But anyway, but maybe it is funny in your world. But I mean, anyway, Laney.
So it was funny, but because he said that was funny,
but then it
wasn't funny.
He got inside and he counted, and he was like, actually, no.
Right.
That's not. No,
I see the error that's been made by the Leeds fan there.
Wrong.
Now.
And he was trying to explain. That Leeds fan who said it was probably wandering off as he was shouting at the back of his head, going, "We sold. I've just heard from the club. We sold 2,847 tickets. So actually, that's not too bad, is it? When you think about it. And it means your joke that you said a minute ago was he's gone. He's gone.
I'm talking to you.
He's gone. Anyway, this will be the last time we hear from Besotted, and I think
until
anyway,
May,
until we play them again. But we just need to follow up on the.
It will be great fun
aftermath.
if, I mean, God forbid, but if we are relegated by the time we play them in May and they're safe, you know, which looks like a potential outcome. I look forward to us doubling down on everything we said before. It'll really confuse them.
Correct. Anyway, having explained what is and isn't funny, they follow it up with this absolutely classic anecdote.
Oh, it's an anecdote.
Which I think we can all agree, this is good banter.
Well, what I'm looking forward to in this anecdote is this being both factual and funny.
Yes.
The 2 tests of humour. Here we go.
They clearly got beef with us, and funny enough, Bill, the beef continued yesterday. I had some unexpected beef in the service station in Oxford.
Yorkshire beef.
Yorkshire beef, Yorkshire puddings and rare beef, raw beef. So I was going up to Stamford Bridge for an Aston Villa book launch event, and I stopped off for a quick coffee and a sandwich at Oxford Services, and I was queuing up for Starbucks, waiting for my coffee to be made for me, and all of a sudden the quiet was punctuated by some commentary, and I picked up the word Canos, and the commentary got louder and louder, and I had my Brentford COVID mask on, so I had my Brentford badge right over my face, and I looked up and there was a bloke sitting there listening to the Sky highlights of the game. Anyway, he went, and Canos makes it 2-1 to Brentford. Anyway, so I said to the guy, oh, that's music to my ears, mate. And he looked at me and he went, you what? And I went, music to my ears, mate. I said, I'm Brentford, and just pointed to the mask. He went, yeah, I'm Leeds. He goes, I'm just listening to the last minute equaliser. And I went, oh, you put that on just for me, haven't you? You saw my badge and you've put the highlights on just for me. I said, that's really sweet of you. And he just looked at me like daggers, and he said, oh, it's a good season for you, like, though, isn't it? And I went, yeah, no, so far so good, mate. I said, relegation dogfight for you all the way, though, and just like walked away. And he was not happy, Bill. He was not happy, but
Zing!
he put it on. He saw my badge on my face and he put the highlights on just to see if he could wind me up. So
did he wind you up? Were you wound up?
Not particularly. I thought it was just pathetic, and then I had the last laugh anyway.
What a payoff!
Needless to say, I had the last laugh. He's not put it on just for him, has he? He's clearly starts the whole thing off by saying he was watching the Canos goal. He was watching the whole highlights, and then he's just been bothered by him
having a coffee and a sandwich.
And somebody starts talking to you, a stranger in a service station.
He's looking daggers at me. He's probably just thinking,
what are you on about, you weirdo?
The fuck's this? The fuck are you speaking to me for? Yeah, but that is good banter.
I mean, what a classic scrape that is.
Yeah, sorry for how long that clip was, but I needed you to hear the full excruciating detail.
I was going to say, I panicked when I saw that I was nearly 2 minutes long, but then I realised it was worth it for the line.
A master of his craft, I would say. It's like,
what he did was deal with the facts, didn't he?
Dealt with the facts.
The facts of the situation.
Definitely put that on for him,
which is what makes it funny. So thanks for that. Oh, bless him.
So that's the end of Besotted for a while. I hope. Unless anyone gets in touch to say they've still talking about it, which I wouldn't be surprised if they are, to be honest. Because we like banter. We like banter. Banter's great. We like banter. Anyone knows me, they'll know I like a laugh and joke as much as the next man. But what they said, 5th of December, 32 minutes in, it was too much and it wasn't correct.
Isn't it brilliant? I mean, when you find someone who just has no sense of humour, and you know how easy it is just to go like that, and prod them with a stick gently over and over again.
Just watching every programme on telly going, yeah, I mean, that is funny, but it wouldn't have actually happened, that would it? So,
and I say that as someone who's got friends who make jokes. But,
my best friends are bantersauruses, and they agree it's not funny what you've said.
I've got a vision of a man in a not just his Brentford face mask, but he's actually in the full tracksuit in the service station. Yeah.
With a face paint on as well behind the mask.
Game was yesterday, mate. Wear this all the time. Right, okay, that wraps up propaganda for this episode. Have we got another one post Man City?
We're going to try.
We're too bloody good for it.
A bit of a last minute scramble tomorrow morning trying to find some
clips. So we're going to be recording on Wednesday lunchtime after a Tuesday night game.
That's the one. So
great.
It was they were going to be second a burn, wasn't it, last time from Cooper's tackle, if you remember.
Well, if all else fails, maybe we can have some more hilarious service station anecdotes from other clubs and other fans, hey?
It was. I'll tell you what, I'll be laughing about that this evening. We're laying in bed chuckling.
Should we have it on one more time?
No.
No, let's not.
People can skip back if they really want to hear it. I guess you'd be playing it to your friends and family and stuff. But I tell you what, I've heard the funniest thing.
You'll never believe what happened to this guy. He was in a service station.
He was in Oxford Services, and he decided to bother someone who was minding his own business and took offence at something that was nothing to do with it.
In the meantime, we'll be back with more Man City propaganda, and we're going to be doing a sort of a staggered weekly show this time, aren't we? Recording part of it now and then part of it tomorrow, so we will update you on that, but it will follow in your feed after this. So cheers for watching, cheers for listening, and we'll see you in a bit.
The Square Ball Podcast.